Isn't this exquisite? Not only is it lovely, it's a pink diamond. And it cost $50,000. My mother-in-law, who hadn't even bothered to attend my mother's funeral, stood before me beaming, clearly proud of her new purchase. She eagerly recounted the details of her latest indulgence, a sparkling pink diamond ring. The joy on her face wasn't simply about the ring itself. It was about outshining a friend who had recently flaunted a similar jewel. With pride, she emphasized how she had gone a step further by purchasing an even more extravagant one from the same store. But the truth behind her triumph was disturbing. She had no means of affording such luxury. I soon learned that she had secretly taken $50,000 from my husband's safe to fund the purchase, money that had been carefully set aside for her future nursing home expenses. My name is Hillary Johnson, a 46-year-old woman. I live with my husband, Steve, 7 years older than me, and our daughter, Gina, who is in her final year of high school. We aren't wealthy, but we live a steady, comfortable life. For over a decade I have worked part-time at a local drugstore, and in my free time I cultivate herbs, even preparing to sit for a medical herb certification exam. Talking with Gina about her future dreams always fills our days with joy. 6 months earlier, my father-in-law had passed away, changing the rhythm of our household. His will left the house to Steve and the savings to my mother-in-law, specifically earmarked for her nursing home care. At 75, it was the sensible plan. Yet, in tears, she begged to remain in the family home. After much discussion, we agreed to let her stay with us for a year while we searched for a suitable home. The house itself sat in a now fashionable residential district. Though valuable, it was simply long-held family property. We were by no means wealthy, but with my mother-in-law, I quickly realized the biggest challenge wasn't space, it was her reckless spending. On the very first evening of our cohabitation, as Steve went out to buy groceries, she casually asked me, "Hillary, could you lend me some money? I'm heading out, just in case I need a bit more. Give me $100 for now." Though hesitant, I handed it over, assuming it was for household shopping. 2 hours later she returned by taxi, her arms laden with shopping bags from a high-end department store, brimming with overpriced deli foods and fancy sweets. "Tonight, we're dining in style. I just had to try these side dishes, they're supposed to be delicious. And I bought desserts too," she announced, glowing with pride. I asked, trying to stay calm, "Mother, how much did this cost?" She replied without hesitation, "Well, I went a little over because of the taxi, but I covered the extra, so it's fine." Her smug tone left me speechless. I didn't realize then that this was only the beginning of my greatest trial. From that day forward, managing money became my biggest headache. While my father-in-law was alive, he had relied on online grocery deliveries, charged directly to his account. Learning quickly from my mistake, I stopped giving her large sums of money and kept our household wallet locked away. Deprived of spending freedom, she sulked and refused to help around the house. Instead, she devoted herself solely to tending the flowers outside, ignoring all other chores. The $300 allowance she received each month vanished quickly on clothes, salon visits, restaurant lunches, and coffee with neighbors. By mid-month she was always broke, demanding more. One day she asked me for extra cash to dine out with friends. Determined, I answered calmly, "Even Steve, who works every day, gets an allowance of $300. I can't give you more than him. Please manage within your means." Unimpressed, she stormed off to her room, likely to ask Steve instead. The allowance came out of the nursing home fund, and every dollar wasted would only make her own future more difficult. When Steve returned home, I told him what had happened. "Did your mother ask you for more money again?" I asked. He sighed. "Yes, she did, but I can't be too hard on her. She must be lonely without Dad. She's always been vain. You know, I just want to honor her wishes, at least for this 1 year." "I understand," I replied, "but your kindness isn't really helping her. If anything, it could come back to hurt us." "You're right," he said, though his tone was reluctant. It soon became clear that her obsession with appearances revolved around 3 old friends, mothers of Steve's former classmates who lived nearby. I'd noticed it most vividly during my father-in-law's funeral. "Steve, it's your father's funeral," she demanded, Arrange the altar this way. And order more extravagant flowers. The neighbors are coming, don't embarrass him. Although the costs were enormous, Steve complied with her wishes. To her, the funeral was not about respect for her husband but about showing off to those three families. She greeted them with pride while ignoring nearly everyone else. Her vanity only grew worse. One afternoon she returned from lunch with her friends, excitement sparkling in her eyes. Today Debbie showed me the ring her husband bought her for their golden wedding anniversary, a $20,000 diamond. I've never seen anything so dazzling. You don't have friends like that, do you, Hillary? You'll probably never see a $20,000 ring in your life, she sneered. Then, glancing at me critically, she added, Hillary, you're so plain. Why don't you put on some makeup? Haven't you ever been to an upscale lunch? Her words weren't casual remarks, they were deliberate attempts to belittle me, fueled by her envy and her desire to prove superiority. I ignored her insults as best I could, but her hostility toward me grew stronger each time I refused to hand over more money. Not long after, while I was beginning to look for nursing homes for her, my own mother's health took a sudden turn. The doctor told my sister and me that she had advanced cancer and only 3 months to live. It was devastating news. My mother had always been resilient, rarely admitting pain, but her frailty became undeniable. I regretted not paying more attention to my mother. While my sister stayed by her side at the hospital, I hurried to her apartment to pack clothes and bring back some valuables. As I filled a large bag in her room, I discovered cash tucked in a drawer, her monthly living expenses. No doubt, I slipped it into the bag, intending to return to the hospital after a quick shower. Back home, I left the bag in Steve's upstairs room and got ready, but when I glanced at it again, the zipper was slightly open. A chill of unease ran through me. I checked inside, and the cash was gone. My stomach sank. Suppressing my anger, I walked to my mother-in-law's room. Mother, may I ask you something? She turned, already dressed to go out. How's your mother? I have plans with my friends right now. I confronted her directly. The money that was in the bag upstairs, it's gone. That was my mother's. Please return it. Her expression hardened. I don't know what you're talking about. I never go upstairs. Are you accusing me of stealing? She brushed past me, adding with a smirk, I'm going to a fancy Chinese dinner tonight, so I don't need your poor excuse for a meal. Give my regards to your mother. Then she swept out the door, leaving me trembling with shock. Just then, Gina came home. Mom, are you okay? I could barely get the words out. Your grandmother's money, she took it. Gina's face tightened with anger. I've seen her sneaking down from upstairs before. To take grandma's money, that's unforgivable. But don't cry. Mom, if you're going to the hospital, I'll come with you. We'll find a way to deal with her. Her steady voice comforted me. Even as grief weighed on my heart, I felt stronger, determined to protect my family. A few days later, my mother's condition worsened, and she passed away. In her final moments, she drifted in and out of lucidity. But when I thanked her for raising me, for loving me, for Gina's future, for the life Steve and I had built together, her eyes glistened with recognition. Sometimes she even managed a faint smile. Her death reminded me of something my father-in-law once confessed. He had considered divorcing my mother-in-law but held back to avoid burdening Steve. He urged me, after his death, to sell the house and place her in a nursing home. He had warned me about her reckless spending. I now wished I had listened sooner. It might have spared us the theft of my mother's money. Steve and Gina were at my mother's side in time, though only my sister and her husband witnessed her final breath. When we returned home to prepare the funeral, my mother-in-law was gone, unreachable by phone. We held a quiet ceremony without her. When I came back afterward, the house was silent. Then she swept in, cheerful. My condolences. It must have been hard. But I couldn't miss the sparkling new jewel in her hand. Oh, this, she said, flashing it. Isn't it beautiful? A pink diamond, $50,000. Debbie introduced me to the store. It's by reservation only. In New York. We stayed overnight at a lovely hotel, had wonderful meals. It was fabulous. While I was burying my mother, she was indulging in luxuries. My heart hardened. How did you pay for it? I asked quietly. From Steve's safe, of course. My passbook was in there with exactly $50,000. It's my money, isn't it? Her audacity stunned me. The safe was an old dial type, usually left unlocked because Steve thought the study was secure. I had suspected she might snoop, but I hadn't expected her to steal so brazenly. That money was from father's inheritance, I said. It was meant for your nursing care. Unmoved, she replied. It was left to me, so why shouldn't I use it? I sighed. Yes, it's yours, but it was for your old age. We'll be moving out. From now on, please manage on your own. At last, fear flickered in her eyes. Wait, what about the nursing home fund? There should be more than this, right? I laid the truth bare. Most of it is gone, spent on your demands, your allowance. Even father's funeral you insisted on making extravagant. I handed her brochures of nursing homes. She trembled as she flipped through them. Steve and Gina appeared. Having overheard, Steve's face was set in grim resolve. For years he had excused her vanity, but the theft was undeniable. Desperately, she clung to him. You'll stay in this house, won't you? It's full of memories. A son must care for his parents. Then I found more missing from the safe. The cash for the car inspection, where is it? Steve lowered his eyes. I borrowed it, $11,000. And my mother's stolen cash? She pulled it from a drawer, offering it back without apology. Here, take it, then everything's fine, isn't it? Forgive me now? But there was no forgiveness left in me. I'm sorry, but I can't live with you anymore. From now on, I'll protect my family. She wept, but Steve, his anger raw, acted quickly. He sold her belongings, arranged a modest sum, and placed her in a nursing home supported by her pension. It was far from the family home. I doubt I'll see her again. Steve still gets occasional calls. She seems calmer now, perhaps finally at peace. A part of me regrets not moving her out earlier. Maybe her life, and ours, would have been gentler. Afterward, we sold the family home easily. It was in a sought-after area. Gina entered her dream university and began her own life. Steve applied for a transfer to a branch near the sea. We planned to spend a few years there until retirement, searching for a final home. For now, all we want is a simple wish, to live together peacefully, just the three of us.